Hello, my beautiful buds. Welcome back to my channel, Sprouts with Joy. My name is Joy, and if you'd like to talk about plants, you're in the right place. This is not quite all of my anthurium, but it's pretty darn close. I've noticed that some of them have been doing like a little bit iffy, so I thought it might be kind of fun to just sit down and address all of the issues that I'm seeing, give my anthurium a little bit extra attention, pamper them, kind of have like a spa day for them in particular. I think a couple of them need to be repotted, and some of them definitely have some like dead leaves that need to be trimmed, and most of them could use a good fertilizing or watering, so let's just do it. Now, I would not call myself an anthurium expert by any means. I've been learning a lot, but also, I guess, take what I say with a grain of salt because I'm learning right along with you. Do we have any anthurium lovers in the room? I know they're a little bit of a polarizing genus because some people just won't touch them with like a 10-foot pole. Oh, by the way, this is my anthurium crystallinum, and a lot of the older leaves are pretty chlorotic and are like dying, and others are just bleached. So I'm just gonna trim them away and start afresh. Yeah, this one's not looking good either. We're doing a lot of trimming today for this one. I also might want to take a peek at the root system because I don't think that it needs to be repotted, but there's definitely a possibility of it because anthurium roots are very chunky, and I don't think that they love being root bound just because then it's easier, like they dry out so much faster, and they don't like to dry out a lot. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, I mean there's definitely roots coming out the bottom. I don't think that this needs to be repotted, but considering so many leaves yellowed off and it has some roots coming out the bottom, I almost want to check just to make sure. And then I also do want to see if I can reorient these leaves. I'm also going to remove all the sphagnum moss from the top. I'll probably replace it, but I just want to see like how is the plant doing? Like what does it look like? Because I feel like it's a little bit gnarly, and now is the time to address any issues if there are any. But that certainly looks gnarly, that's for sure. That's the base of the plant. Let's just take a gander. Oh my. I mean, that is certainly well rooted. I don't want to bother it if it doesn't need anything from me, but like, I'm trying to evaluate. Is that too big of a root system? It's not terribly root bound, but it's definitely getting snug in there. I might try to pot it up a little bit deeper just because these chunks, this is actually two separate plants. I need to pot it up deeper now because so many of those old leaves are gone and more roots can grow from these empty nodes, you know? I'm gonna try to do that. I'll probably reuse this soil and then add like a little bit of fresh soil just so it has a mixture of fresh stuff, but also this soil's not terribly old either. I don't know, am I gonna be able to pot it up deeper? I actually think I might put this in a new pot. I mean, now I'm looking at it again, like this is a pretty significant root system. Like, I don't think I would go any wider, but maybe deeper if I have one. I'm gonna do some investigating and see if I can find a better pot for this. I actually have this self-watering pot that I've been wanting to use, and I think that it might be like the perfect size. Let's see. Okay, that's actually literally perfect. That's gonna be great. It's gonna look beautiful, and I think it's gonna really like the self-watering pot. I think that's a good compromise, because from what I know about anthurium, as I mentioned before, they don't seem to want to dry out completely. Like, they don't want to be bone dry. Anytime that my anthurium have gotten bone dry, they get very unhappy. Whereas, you know, a lot of my philodendron might bounce back more easily. A self-watering pot would kind of keep it a little bit more consistently moist, but not too much. I think that'll be a good compromise because I recently took this out of the cabinet. I think that's part of the reason that it kind of threw a tantrum because of the humidity shift. I mean, I don't blame them. I would be traumatized too if it was out of necessity. So let's see. Even this is a little bit snug, but I think it's actually gonna be a much better situation than it was before. Oh, and I have this TPS Billions, which I recently started experimenting with using. It does make the soil fuzzy a little bit, but it says that you can, you know, while you're repotting it, you can sprinkle in a little bit. So I might try to do that just to see. It supposedly, I don't know, gives your plant like a better immune system. You can do it while watering or repotting, or honestly, you could probably just sprinkle it on the top of the soil. I don't think it would hurt, but the instructions do talk about while you're transplanting or repotting and watering are the specific scenarios that it gives. So, I mean, hey, this is as good a time as any. I also have a little bit of organic fertilizer that I'm going to sprinkle in on top. Kind of zhuzh it in there. And then, I mean, honestly, it's already looking so much better than it was before. Wow. Okay, I previously had this chopstick in as like a little stake. I think I'm going to try to do that again. I'm going to try to just get all the leaves to orient the same direction. I think so. All right, I'm gonna fill this up with water because this is kind of like the self-watering portion. Okay, so it's floating a little bit, but it'll settle in. And then I also, Ginny, hey. You're in the way, honey. You didn't like that. I also have a little bit of water. I'm just gonna sprinkle it on top to help water in that fertilizer. Just a little bit. And I don't know, I probably could have put less water in here, but like, there we go. That's actually so beautiful. Wow. Another anthurium that I suspect will need to be repotted, actually I'm pretty confident it needs to be repotted, is my anthurium crystallinum crossed with papillinum. And I have noticed that these leaves have been getting paler. It could be that they're getting too much light. So I also know that it's been drying out really quickly. I've had to water it every few days in order to keep up. I mean, the roots are coming out the bottom. Look at that root system. What am I gonna repot it into is the question. I guess I could, in theory, put it back in this pot where the crystallinum was, but I think I'd prefer to have it in a clear pot, so let's see if I can zhuzh this out gently. I would love to be able to get these roots out alive and not ripped. Is it working? Maybe. There we go. Okay, everything kind of made it. That's good. Look at that. That is one healthy looking root system right there. That's really good. While we're here, I think I'm gonna remove this leaf because it's just not looking great. So may as well. Dead leaf pile, okay. I do prefer potting up my anthurium in clear containers if I have them available. Oh, actually, that's not too bad. I mean, it would need to be out of this pot pretty quickly, but I think that this is way too big of a jump in size in my opinion. So I might just go up like one size right here, and that way I can still keep it in the cash po that I had before. It'll got just a smidgen more room to work with. I'll do the same thing though. I'll add in this TPS Billions. It's mycorrhizae, which again is just something that helps the plant fight off pests or like fungal infections. It just makes for a more robust plant from what I've heard. I might break this up just a smidgen, but nothing crazy. Soil mix is pretty much the same. I always add too much in the bottom. I mean, it's definitely gonna get rooted up in here very quickly. Not gonna lie. I might be regretting my decision. Only problem is I feel like the only other options I have are like ugly black plastic pots or like nursery pots or terracotta right now. And I just don't want to do that. Where do I have a chopstick? That's gonna help me. Especially because I've got like a lot of big chunks right now in this soil. I guess right now is a good time to add the myco. I'm suddenly feeling so warm. Oh my gosh. I mean, obviously I'm wearing a sweater, but still, I'm feeling like hot. That's a little bit of fertilizer. This is definitely probably not enough room for this root system. Oh, but I'm already here and I don't really have a better option that I know of. So I'll let it get cozy in this pot probably over the summer and then maybe repot it in the fall. Like I hate to have to repot it again so soon, but like I have to actually go on a quest to get a specific pot for this. Should I have done that before this video? Yes. But I have so many pots that I generally tend to just trust that I'll have a pot for every occasion, which just is, you know, always the case. Doesn't always happen. I'll water this in kind of at the end. There's some pretty big air pockets in there. When I water it in, maybe it'll all kind of work itself out. And if not, I'll address it later. But there we go. It's pretty cute. It's back in its cash po. Okay, the next one that I know I need to repot probably is this plant right here. It's my anthurium dorayaki crystallinum and luxurians all crossed together. And it's pretty root bound in there. So I think I would appreciate a little bit of an upgrade. I do love it in this cash po though. So let's see, does this fit in here? Okay, it's not the perfect fit, but it's just enough, and it's a size up, so we're gonna do it. Again, this is also like a nice and healthy root system, which I'm really grateful for. I need to purify this sphagnum moss. It's pretty icky. The one problem with these pieces of orchid bark is that they are so big. So when it's like a smaller pot like this, it gets a little bit absurd. Okay. There we go. This is my anthurium dotarifolium, and I don't know for sure if this needs to be repotted, but I haven't actually repotted it before. And I don't know. I might just repot it just to freshen up the soil because I've had it for almost a year. And I feel like the root system should be more vigorous than it is. Yeah, these roots don't look fantastic if I'm being honest. Like some of them are fine, but not what I would really expect after having it for a year. Yeah, and a few of these roots are really quite porous. Like they're just not vigorous. So I think I just want to freshen up the soil. I might put it into a clear pot. Honestly, maybe I'll put it into this clear pot. that works out. I love it when that happens. I'm gonna wash it out though because it's a little bit iffy. Okay, there we go. Hello.
Alright, come on, baby.
My husband is home with the kiddos, so I probably have to wrap up this video pretty quickly here now. Right, fertilizer. I don't think need to be repotted, but I do want to, you know, this one doesn't need to be watered for sure because it still has water at the bottom, but I want to add a little bit of fertilizer and myco to it anyways while I'm here. So throw that in there. I'm going to stir it in a little bit with this chopstick. It does have a new leaf coming in that I hope does well, because this plant has been a little bit iffy recently. This is my anthurium clarinervium. This is an old stem. But this one, it has been fertilized recently. I feel like it has not been doing that well, if I'm being honest, but I'll give it a bit of myco and then I'll water it in at the end with the rest of the anthurium. But I don't know, like, it's alive, but it just hasn't really been growing, and the roots don't look like they've really been growing much either, so I don't know. And then this right here is my anthurium dark forgetii, which is trying to put out yet another inflow. Oh my gosh, this plant is so aggressive when it comes to the inflows, which is fine, but I also want it to think about foliage for once. I'm gonna kind of lift up this sphagnum moss to add the fertilizer so that it goes more directly into the soil. And I have the layer of sphagnum moss just because I've heard other people having a good experience with it. It kind of helps to coax root growth in the anthurium. Let's see. And it also kind of keeps them a little bit more moist, that sort of thing. They just seem to generally like it. But yeah, okay. Well, I think that that's all of the anthurium, so let's go ahead and water them all in. Jenny, hey honey, you're kind of in the way. Oh, okay. I was gonna hold you. Well, my friends, that's gonna be it for this video. I think that my anthurium are honestly gonna be so much happier. I can already tell, like, they just look more vibrant, and it's really refreshing to have them in new pots, new soil, with a little bit of pampering. So yeah, I do really hope that they improve. I mean, my crystallinum especially looks worlds better already. Oh my goodness. If you did enjoy this video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. All those things are incredibly helpful for my channel. And yeah, I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye.